Welcome to the Prescott Home Value Report through May 2025, brought to you by the Prescott Pickle Lady, Diane Bro Realtor. As you can probably tell, I am not the Pickle Lady. My name is Randall. I'm in the bottom right-hand corner, and the Pickle Lady has authorized me to show you the following slides, as always, starting with the median sales price per square foot in the city of Prescott. The way this chart works is the current year is red, the last year for comparison is blue. Each one of these dots represents the median sales price per square foot in that month. So as you can see, we have kind of some shucking and jiving, but for the most part, these lines kind of stay together. Earlier this year, we were running ahead of last year, and we fell a little behind last month. This month, we have fallen to negative 4% since last year. We've seen that before. Unless you see it continuing, it'll probably rebound next month. It's been shucking and jiving and jiving and shucking. So I would describe this as flat. Same thing with the transaction volume. This is again this year, which is the red line, versus last year, which is the blue line. Kind of ups and downs last year. If you kind of thin that out, kind of average that out, you kind of get a steady volume. And we've been running kind of in parallel to that. This one might have been a little high, maybe down up in here. This month we're still a little behind. I wouldn't make too much of this. Maybe a little behind last year. So is it a buyer's market, seller's market? What are we looking at here? Well, the way that we answer that question is with our pending ratio analysis. So the way that works is we take the homes that were on the market at a given point in time, which was 794, which is a higher number than we've seen, I think, since COVID. We're approaching 800. So we're getting a more healthy amount of inventory in our markets. Of the 794, 106 of them were already pending. That is 13% of the 794. So our pending ratio is 13%. If you look up 13% in our handy dandy color chart here, you'll see that that is a strong buyer's market. So it has been a buyer's market. It has been a strong buyer's market. It's been an extreme buyer's market all this year. Most of the time, we're right where we are now in the strong buyer's market. We're getting kind of close to 20% and then kind of dip back down again. So we are still in a strong buyer's market. If you break that out by price point, you get a chart that looks something like this. So let me walk you through this. Each one of these blue columns is a price point, and that gives you the number of homes that were sold in that price point over the last month. So as you can see, it's kind of a normal curve. So you starting to get a lot of homes in that 1.2 plus. And less of a buyer's market in that market too. So the higher end is starting to do pretty well. This is a very flat pending ratio analysis curve. Usually what you see is lower price points or more of a seller's market, and higher price points are more of a buyer's market. You can see that kind of happening as we approach a million and beyond. Not sure what's happening with this rebound here. That's kind of crazy. That's an area that I probably have to research some more. This is a very flat curve, but not uncharacteristic of what we've been seeing the last several months. How long does it take for a home to sell in Prescott? Well, about 8.5 months, including 1.1 months in escrow, 7.4 months to get to a contract. So you put it on MLS, takes about 7.4 months nowadays to get to a contract, and then a little over a month to close. Turning now to Prescott Valley, same song and dance, median sales price per square foot. This line's a lot easier to predict. Not as much jumping and bumping. This year has been over last year by a little bit. Last month that converged. We're still pretty much converged. Technically, we are 1% over last year, but I wouldn't make too much of that. I think we're neck and neck. Same is true of our volume chart. neck and neck, doing a little less than last year, but not very much. That's just a few units. So is a buyer's market, seller's market? Well, oddly enough, they have the same pending ratio as Prescott. Now, their pending ratio had been higher. We had gotten into the balanced market area, into the 30s, or pretty close to it, relatively recently. Now we're back to a strong buyer's market. Not surprising seeing that our inventories are getting higher. Breaking that out by price point, low ends, much more of a seller's market, although not even balanced, still a buyer's market. All of the 500s through to you get to 900s, those are extreme buyer markets. And then once again, the higher price points are less of a buyer's market, although in PV, these columns are so small, those denominators are so small, I wouldn't make too much of that. All right, so how long does it take for a home to sell in Prescott Valley? 4.4 months, not quite half of what it takes in Prescott, but getting close to it. 3.8 months to get to a contract, and escrows are going really fast. Must have been a lot of cash deals out in PV last month. It won't stay that way. It'll be closer to 1 next month. And so the highlights. Median price per square foot. We had a 0% change in Prescott from last month, staying even. Although last year that number began to rise, so now we're at negative 4%. Out in PV, we're at $300 per square, which is again a 0% change from last month, and it's a little bit ahead of last year. Volumes were up 6% from last month as we get into the summer season, and we're actually 4% over last year. So volumes are doing actually pretty good, although last year was nothing to write home about. It's not like a really high benchmark. Over in PV, we're at 81. These numbers are usually further apart, at least it seems to me. We had an 11% change since last month, but we're still negative 10% from last year. So that's kind of crazy. The volume in PV is starting to come on. Inventories are looking real nice, almost 800. That's the highest we've seen it in a bit. That's an 11% increase, so that's 80 more units, something like that, that are in inventory. Expect to see the market become more of a buyer's market, even though it kind of already is. I just see this as more healthy, as more variety for buyers coming in, and that's a good thing. It's low inventory has been something that's been going on pretty much around the country, and now we're starting to get closer to what would be considered normal. 357, that's about where it's been in PV. That's a 2% increase from last year. Months to contract, that is 7.4 in Prescott. That's about a half of a month longer than it was last month. And PV 3.8 months, which is a little faster than last month. Things are going quick out there. Look, if you like this kind of stuff, we got lots more for you in the Prescott Home Value Report. This is just a summary. We go into specific subdivisions and just a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of slicing and dicing. So I would encourage you to download that report and get it in full. We update this report every month, but it is not the only report we do. We also have what we call the Appraiser's Eye View, which is the last 6 months of the latest comps. And it's broken out by subdivision. In fact, Prescott Lakes, we break it out by neighborhood. So it's very, very detailed. This is an example of what you'll see in the chart. This would be a subdivision. It's sorted by price per square foot, the number of months that it took the home to sell, square footage, the year it was built, how many stories, how many acres, and whether the listing agent is reporting the home having a view or not. Using this, you can look at all the different comps that occurred. You can see the average down here. So using this, it's a really good tool to figure out what you should be paying for a home or where you might want to price a home that you are selling. So a really cool tool.
We even have a video which goes through how to use this information to come up with value estimates for homes.
We do a whole lot of tools like this, all of them really very cool for both buyers and sellers. And one thing I should point out is you can't get these from any place else. These are exclusive. You can only get them from the Prescott Pickle Lady.
And all of this is part of our page. We call it Prescott by the Numbers, or more commonly, the Pickle page. So if you're on the Pickle page, you know the Pickle page. But if you're not the Pickle page, well, you should get to the Pickle page. And you do that by subscribing. We update it every month. If you subscribe, we will send you a monthly email update with the link so you can go download all the reports that you want. Even if you're not all that interested in getting every single month, just having access to these tools will give you a real leg up when it comes to the real estate game. I hope you found this informative and maybe slightly entertaining, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Please take a moment to look below and find the button that'll take you to the Pickle page. We'll see you there.